So, video 2 in this series, how to make a knife cheap. Um, I like to use Dychem. It's a layout fluid that a lot of machinists use and stuff. It just makes it a lot easier. I mean, you can draw on a lot of steel with a Sharpie if it's clean, but like the old rusty saw blade, that can be tough. It's tough to see, and if the metal heats up, depending on how you're cutting it, it can be difficult to see your marks. Once you start getting into it. So the Dychem is, an inexpensive way, and one bottle lasts. I mean, just this little, geez, what is this? 4 ounces has lasted, I don't know, 2 years. I mean, I don't make an insane amount of knives, but it'll last you a good long while. It's a cheap and easy investment to make your life so much easier. So you just brush it on to the steel and let it dry. If you start scratching on it before it's dry, it's not as effective. And then this is a blade that I developed, and I liked it. I like the shape. I like the feel. So I cut it out of wood so I could keep it, and I labeled it. This is a Model 10 for me. I can't come up with cool names like the ventilator for every design that passes through my head. So I just lay it out. Get yourself an awl, a nail, a screw, just something that's hard metal and pointy, and then you can scratch into it. As you can see here, this is one that I already scratched out. That's just a finger ring skinner that I'm making for a buddy. And once you get it transferred to the steel, then you got to figure out a way to cut it out. I think the absolute cheapest way is a metal blade and a coping saw. It just takes, time and energy. The cheaper you make a knife, the more energy you're going to put into it. You get into it, you start getting, a better tool here and there, and just nickel and dime it. If you can find a used chop saw, that makes life easier. And if you're only going to get one thing, probably a like 4.5 inch angle grinder makes life easy. And if you don't have some kind of a belt grinder, an old stone grinder will remove metal, and the stones will last for a little while. But once you get it scratched in, you start cutting, and after it's cut, we'll go into the next part. Once you have it in the shape that you want, that fits your hand nice, has the blade profile that you want, then we'll get into how to lay your primary bevel. And I got a jig off of I think it's Go Knives, Gough Knives. He has a ton of videos on YouTube that are super easy. He lays out the jig, and I'll show you my version of that, and then a couple other evolutions that I've gone through. that are all relatively inexpensive because I nickel and dime everything. All right. Talk to you in the next one.